Hey, baby. I'm still drinking that. Honey, I know, but you shouldn't drink so much, you know? You and I were just talking and baby, I don't want to breathe. I just want to drink. I just want that drink. Baby, I don't like to bring up the past, but you know that little problem you're doing. Oh, sweetie, I know. It's just tonight, no more drinks.
What's up, YouTube? So I'm just waiting on my co-host, Cint, and I am watching a movie while I do it. So y'all don't mind me. So yeah, I'm just watching this movie. I haven't seen it in a long time, and I just found it on one of the apps, one of the movie apps. So I'm just waiting on Cint, and I'm watching Deliver Us from Eva. And y'all looking back, I think this movie came out. When did this movie come out? Hold on. Let me see when this movie came out.
Service my many talents. Grew up an orphan, no mama, no daddy, no child.
Oh, so it came out 2003. I thought it came out in 2002.
Like we saw the other night. Love your work, baby. You want to be exempt from taxes for that shit. None of my credit did, right? Oh, no. I told you my play card, man. I'm practically engaged, man. A beautiful name back. Congratulations. Thank you.
This movie was crazy as hell. Back in the day, I thought it was entertaining. I used to think this movie was entertaining. But looking back, I think this movie did a bad thing for she looked like a damn pit bull in that picture. But I think this movie did a real bad thing for Black women and our image. Looking back at it. Look, I watch it Deliver Us from Evil, y'all. She did look like a damn pit bull in that picture. She was scowling. Mean as hell. Shit, but Eva had a lot of shit going for her. Like, even though she was rough around the edges, she had a good career, and like she helped raise her younger sisters, and they had money saved up. I wish me and my sisters had did that. Saved up a good amount of money. Shit, I should rewind it, and we should just review this movie today, but I want to go over these missing women's cases. So once my co-hosts get in here, we'll discuss those cases. I'm just gonna wait for people to come in. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and get started while I'm waiting on Cint to join in. And tonight I wanted to go over a couple missing cases, and these ones were kind of odd. They had a lot of suspicion around them, and I wanted to discuss them. I also wanted to discuss standards and boundaries, and I wanted for us to go over this stuff together, because I like it's a lot of stuff that I learned in this past week about Black women having standards. And from what I researched, it seems like we almost are not allowed to have standards. And when we do have standards and we set boundaries for ourselves, it's almost like people start to see us as being mean. Or like, for example, I read an article earlier in the week about standards and in the workplace, and one of the things that Black women were discussing in this article, they were discussing how they will be in, like, I don't know, like higher positions or corporate America, and they'll be at work and they'll be mainly around like people of no color, and how these women, like, they'll, like, women of no color will approach them and try to touch on their hair. They don't know how to like stay out of Black women's personal space. They don't understand that some Black women just want to keep it professional. They don't necessarily want to be your friend, and they don't have to be your friend. They don't have to discuss your personal life. You don't have to discuss your personal life with them if you don't want to. And it seems to me like to Black men and people of no color, when Black women develop standards for themselves, that we're seen as, mean, or, like, people get mad when we develop standards. And that's one thing that I didn't want to only discuss with y'all, but I wanted us to kind of get educated on that, like, together. But I wanted to start in talking about this missing persons case. And I'm going to do what I always do, and I'm going to read up on it. And then I kind of want y'all to tell me what y'all think, about these two missing cases. This first one, her name is Keiosha Felix. That's her name. She's from Louisiana. And around the time of her disappearance, she was like only 15 years old. So let me just get into this, because it was a lot of shit that happened around her case. The family was faulty and suspicious, and even the detectives in this case was suspicious. Let me see. I'm pretty new to this live streaming stuff, so I want to see if I can pull up a picture of Keiosha. And so y'all bear with me for a minute. I'm going to try to pull up a picture of Keiosha. Or I don't know, I could probably post it later on in my community tab, but let me at least try to pull up her picture. Because one thing that I noticed and that I get frustrated about with some missing cases is that when they share these stories, it seems like they go for either the worst picture they could find of Black women, or like Felicia Johnson. Felicia Johnson was very pretty. That's another young woman who recently went missing out of Houston, Texas. But her picture, her initial picture, she was so full of makeup and so done up that when the family finally shared her original picture, I was thinking, like, both pictures are pretty, don't get me wrong, but I was thinking one don't look like the other. It looked totally different. So let me see. Let me see if I can move my profile out of the way so y'all can see her picture. I'm trying to show it to y'all. Let me see if I can move out of the way so y'all can see this. I don't know if I can move it, because if I move it, you won't be able to hear me. Okay, let me try this. Okay. Hopefully it'll let me do what I need to do. And it's not going. All right, y'all. I'm gonna have to move on just without the picture. I'll probably share it later in my community tab. But okay, let me just read this article. So it says Keiosha's mother was in prison and she was a ward of the Louisiana Department of Children and Family Services all the way back in 2012. Okay, she went missing. The last day that she was seen or heard from, y'all, was April 30th of 2012. Okay. Let me see. I think I lost my place. Okay. So it says she was living in Mason Demir, a group home for teenage girls who are pregnant or have young children. She got a weekend pass to visit her paternal aunt. So this is her father's sister, Patricia Andrus, and was last seen leaving Andrus's Duson, Louisiana home on April 30th of 2012. Keiosha was initially thought to be a runaway, and her 19-year-old cousin Portia Felix claimed she'd heard from her and she was all right. So this girl, when she went missing, her cousin basically went to the police and was like, hey, she's okay, basically called a search off. Ain't produced her. The girl ain't spoke on her own, nothing. That right there would have raised red flags for me. Let me keep going. So it says that she had run away before, but she came back 2 days later. Keiosha frequently used her cell phone and her Facebook prior to her disappearance, but neither one of them has been active since she went missing. She also left behind her 1-year-old daughter. Now, Keiosha was 15, y'all, with a 1-year-old daughter, so she probably got pregnant at 13 or 14 years old. Okay, so she left behind the baby, and her people and her loved ones and friends said that that's way out of her character. She would not have left that baby behind. Okay. This is where it gets weird. So 3 months after she went missing, so in July of 2012, Keiosha was last seen when she was like 3 months after she was seen, basically. Authorities charged Leon Wilkerson Jr. Leon Wilkerson Jr. is her paternal aunt's boyfriend, and they charged the paternal aunt with the paternal boyfriend, the ex-boyfriend, with rape and second-degree kidnapping in connection with her disappearance. Now, when I was reading this the first time, I was thinking, okay, it's open and closed case. They know he has something to do with it. They just need to produce some remains at this point. That's what I was thinking, because I come across so many of these cases. But as I kept reading, it got weirder and weirder and weirder. Okay, so it says Andrus was charged with improper supervision of a minor. This is her aunt. Andrus is her aunt. She was charged with improper supervision of a minor, an accessory to rape, and Portia is the cousin. Portia was charged with obstruction of justice. Police determined that she had lied when she said that Keiosha had got in touch with her after she vanished. So the whole family is corrupt than a motherfucker. Okay. So Keiosha also allegedly told her aunt that Wilkerson, she basically told the aunt that, hey, your boyfriend has been S-word assaulting me. Okay. Andrus, this is the auntie, supposedly confronted her boyfriend with the allegation and he denied it. So she didn't report it to the police or DCF. So that's one thing that I also thought was funny as well, that she didn't report this. Usually when young girls are like wards of the state or in CPS's custody, not only when they leave, they have to report back to the custody of CPS, like when they're off on a pass like this young lady was. Not only do they have to report back to CPS, but the fact that the aunt just went off of the boyfriend's word, you know what I mean? This shit weird as hell. It gave me high, mammy vibes. It really did, y'all. These are the type of black women in the community that just rub me all the way wrong. You just want to kind of take them in the middle of the street, whoop their ass for some of the things that they allow or that they turn a blind eye to, or as I like to commonly say, sweep under the rug. So let me keep reading because it gets weirder. So she basically Andrea supposedly confronted Leon. She confronted the auntie, confronted the boyfriend. He denied it, and she never reported the incident to CPS or to the authorities. Okay, she never even brought it up, right? So in August of 2012, mind y'all, she went missing the last day of April. Okay, August of 2012, Leon's brother Ronald Wilkerson was also charged in kidnapping in Keiosha's case. All right. So as I continue to read this, I'm like, oh, okay, investigate all the asses and start to do the divide and conquer, turn them against each other or whatever. Because somebody gonna talk if you turn them against each other. That's an old police move, right? So the Doosan Police Department was originally handling Keiosha's case, and Lieutenant Gerald Credor, the Assistant Chief of Police in charge, that's who was handling her case before. I believe it says another department, Lafayette Police Department took over, right? So, anyways, let me go back because I'm getting ahead of myself. So it says in September of 2012, Credor was removed from the investigation and suspended from duty. And in October, he was terminated. He had allegedly made 2 unlawful arrests in Keiosha's disappearance, conducted illegal search and seizures, and provided false testimony. But I'm wondering what he lied about. What did he add in or take out of that case that made them because it had to been enough for them to take him off the case completely. Lafayette Parish soon took over after that. But y'all, this case, it has so many twists and turns. You don't know what to believe or what not to believe. Let me keep going though. So after Credor was taken off the case, all charges against Wilkerson, his brother, Keiosha's aunt, and her cousin were dropped. The district attorney said the evidence against them was mostly unsubstantiated hearsay. Okay. Investigators believe Keiosha is alive but may be in danger. She has been known to frequent the Vizay area of Lafayette and may be in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, or Houston, Texas areas. She may be in the company of an adult male or an adult female. Her case is classified as an endangered missing person and remains unsolved. So that's one of the first cases that I wanted to go over with y'all tonight because it's so much speculation around this case. And I'm personally thinking that the aunt knows something or somebody close to her got to know something because they do have proof, because when you're in the custody of CPS does not just release you to anybody. Hell, you could even go up there and be like, yeah, I'm her dad's sister, I'm her aunt. And, no, they don't just release children to anybody. You have to give an ID. They have to do a background check on you and all that shit. So for CPS to release this girl to her aunt's house and then from then on they don't hear from her, I would still start to I wouldn't completely take them off the suspect list. I wouldn't, and that's kind of weird how they the charges immediately got dropped against them. I understand because the detective was faulty as well, but I feel like the aunt and the whole family knows more than what they're putting on. And then I hate to say this, and sound creepy or whatever, but they're in Louisiana, y'all. So what's in Louisiana? I don't know, big ass swampy grasslands, alligators and shit. Has she been in New York or something like that? Or I would say New York, you would search the rivers and stuff because up there they mainly if they really, really want to get rid of a body, it's common for people to dismember bodies up in that area. But as far as the South, I'm thinking the Everglades, the damn swamps, but I feel like her aunt knows something more than what she's telling. I'm wondering where her mother is. I know from my research that her mom has been taking an active role in her trying to find her daughter, and she has since been out of prison. But y'all, I'm just wondering what people think about this. I'm trying to wait for more people to come in here so I don't feel like I'm talking to my damn self. Yeah, and I'm waiting on my co-host too. Let me let her know again that I'm live. But yeah, that was one of the first cases that I thought was suspicious. And it's 2 more cases that I wanted to discuss Nina Rose out of Englewood, California. I wanted to interview her family. I wanted to bring them on live one day and interview them. I have reached out to some of her close friends and loved ones. I'm going to try to see if I can pull her picture up here as well. Because Nina, the one thing that's weird about her case is not really the family, but from what I'm hearing is they haven't even assigned her a like, I don't know if y'all can see her damn picture. This thing is like really frustrating me because I don't know how to get, like, if I pull my avatar down, it's not going to allow y'all. Let me see if I can pull it. I'm just gonna pull it down for a few seconds so y'all can see how Nina looks. Okay, so and y'all still really can't even see her damn picture. So I'm gonna try to find another one, another good picture of Nina and Keiosha, because Keiosha, her missing ad, like that's the one thing that irritates me with some of these missing ads is because it's like they to either get the worst shots of these people or they use the shots of Black women and children that where the Black woman or child, like they have on the most makeup. And like Felicia, like one thing I am like glad that her family did is her family went back and started showing pictures of her without her makeup and without her done up and everything like that. So they did do that. I was proud that they did that. I talked to, like, I don't know if y'all remember who Ella Goody is, because I cover her case as well. Ella Goody, I asked her family to do the same thing, like if she wears makeup, give us a picture of her without the makeup and everything. But people, not the family, but really just people in the support groups and stuff like that were taking it the wrong way. And for somebody like me who's an advocate, it always frustrates me because people think that I'm concerned about these young ladies' looks. I don't give a fuck how anybody looks. This is not a beauty contest. This is about getting somebody home to their loved ones. It's not about looking cute. I don't care how you looked. I don't care who you were. Sadly to say, but when I get these cases, when you come over here to Black Women Aware, most of the time you're either dead or missing, and I'm trying to change that because my channel is called Black Women Aware. I am getting to the point where I am doing interviews from other Black women, and I want these Black women to be able to educate the audience. I want these Black women to be able to network. I want us to be able to network amongst other Black women. I want us to be able to talk about our issues and shit like that. So I am trying to expand it past just missing and murder cases. But again, I'm a one woman ran operation, so everything is taking time. Sunday, I was thinking about going live again Sunday and discussing standards and boundaries and all that shit, and why I feel like Black women, we definitely need to start having boundaries, setting healthy boundaries. And when somebody cross our boundaries, we shouldn't feel like one, we have to argue with somebody every time that we tell somebody no. Do y'all understand what I'm saying? Like, have you ever told somebody no or did not want to tell somebody no because you feel like y'all gonna have an argument? This person just can't take no and take it with understanding. They want to argue with you, and I understand, like, from my own personal experiences and from other Black women who talk to me, that it is hard for us to set boundaries because a lot of people want to argue with us, or they think we're being mean or something like that when we tell people no. And that's frustrating as a Black woman, but we do need to set boundaries, and it's going to help us curb a lot of the bullshit, especially in relationships with men. It's going to help us curb a lot of the bullshit that comes our way. Okay. But I was going to go live Sunday and do that, but I believe Sunday I am going to take a break because it probably doesn't look like it from y'all side of things, but I do a hell of a lot behind the scenes to keep this channel up and going. I've been scheduling all of these interviews. I have been looking into different cases. I have been trying to reach different people's family members and shit, to get to talk to these people's families, because one thing that I've learned is when I reach out to people and I talk to their families, you actually learn more than what they put in that missing ad. Because some of these missing ads, literally, like for Black women and children, believe me or not, they only have like one sentence. This person was last seen on the 300 block of ABC Avenue. And if you seen them, call 911 or call this police department, and that's literally it. And I be looking at that shit like, damn. And then y'all have to take into account, as crazy as this sounds, but to some people who are not Black, we all look alike. So not only do we all look alike to people who don't know us, but you putting this missing ad out and shit, you really ain't putting shit in it. You're not giving people enough information about the person, but when you talk to the families, obviously they're going to have more information than what you have. I understand some families, they're not allowed to talk about the cases or whatever because the police tell them to shut up or whatever. But some of the families who are allowed to talk to us, they have a lot of information. I'm sitting here and I'm like, well, if we knew that, if the public knew that, then that'll, give people a little bit more help with finding your loved one and bringing them home, right? So that's one thing that I find that is frustrating. What's up, Cint?
Hello.
With missing cases. I think I'm echoing. I think you got something on in the background.
Hold on, my mic.
You got your new mic. You popping over there. Ooh, excuse me, y'all. I'm over here drinking. Have y'all ever had that? Is it called LaCroix scent? What the hell? I don't know how to pronounce it.
Hold on one second.
Sparkling water.
Oh, LaCroix.
You's a goddamn hater. That's why. But Cint, have you seen that movie from back in the day, Deliver Us from Evil?
Oh, girl, yeah.
So I'm sitting up here watching it. I seen it was on Tubi, and like back in the day, it was one of my favorite damn movies. So when I first got on here, I was watching that movie, and I was talking about like looking back and knowing all that I know about like the situations that we face in the Black community as Black women, our image and everything. I was like, oh shit, they really should not have done this movie because it feeds into that negative stereotype about Black women that we're loud, angry, aggressive. Like Gabrielle Union's character. Like even though this movie was funny to me, Gabrielle Union's character, she just like other than her, because she's very educated and she keeps her sisters together and shit. But other than that, I was just like, oh wow, this movie really fed into that stereotype about Black women. And like I didn't see it back then. Obviously, back in the day, I was what? When this movie came out, I was what, 15, 16 years old?
Girl, don't go there because I was grown.
Girl. Did you hear what I said about the Keiosha Felix case?
I did not. I was doing some research on something.
Keiosha Felix is she was, today she would be 25 years old, but back in 2012, she went missing. Her mother was in prison, right? Mm-hmm. She went missing in April of 2012. And she was a ward of the state. She was living in a group home through CPS that is for like kids who have kids. So she has a daughter at 15, right? Mm-hmm. She got a daytime pass and went to visit her auntie on her daddy's side of the family. And she didn't show back up at the damn group home, right? Mm-hmm. So the auntie, because I guess from what the auntie had told, she eventually let the police know this, but it wasn't out at the time. They didn't know what the hell happened to this girl. So the auntie basically came forward and was like, allegedly came forward rather, and was like, hey, she told me that my boyfriend allegedly raped her and assaulted her or whatever. And she said she questioned him about it, and that was it. She never reported it to CPS. She never reported it to the police, right? Mm-hmm. She got a cousin who basically was like, Keiosha got a hold of me. Keosha's cool or whatever. She okay. But Keiosha ain't saying this. Keosha's still missing. So, this is just the cousin saying, oh, well, she got a hold of us and she cool or whatever. Don't worry about her, right? Mm-hmm. So then the boyfriend's brother, his name, I believe his name is Roderick. I gotta go over this article. But he comes out and it comes out that he allegedly has something to do with her disappearance or whatever, right? And like the whole family is just weird and everything about the case is weird. So then it comes out that the original lieutenant, he had basically been throwing false charges on people and was locking everybody up, and basically all his shit, all the evidence that he had on this case was like
Was thrown out.
Yeah, it was hearsay though. It was hearsay.
Mm.
So they canceled it, and another police department took over the case, right? So the little girl's still missing to this day, and her family, like, she would have never left her daughter behind or nothing like that. But I'm thinking to myself, because one thing I do know about CPS is when there's children in their custody, and I don't think CPS are angels for those of y'all who are listening. But yeah, I know for a fact when CPS takes kids into their custody and you're staying in a foster care or a group home, the one thing that you do have to do, like if this child is going to go like without a CPS person or a foster care parent, the one thing that they will make the person do, like say I'm her aunt and I'm getting her for the weekend, I have to show my ID and they gonna do a
Oh
background,
yeah. You
right?
gotta do a background check. They gotta do a house check. They gotta do
Right.
monthly.
So
Yeah.
I'm like,
Go to a
okay,
placement.
even though they took this one detective off the case, I'm like, what the hell happened after that? They just let the auntie go, and it's been 10 years, and this little girl still has not showed up. They don't know nothing about the case, and it's just it's fishy to me. It's real
Mm.
fishy, and so
Yeah.
I'm trying to get another because this young girl on the background, that's Nina Rose. Nina Rose is from Englewood, California. She recently went missing. And I tried to get a hold of her family to do an interview. But her case, the only thing that's really fishy about her case is the police basically shut her down like they do all Black women and children when they go missing. They shut her down with basically like told her family, well, it ain't enough evidence on the case, and so we not even gonna sign her a damn detective. So they just threw her like under the bus.
Mm.
Yeah, girl, she been gone, and the family like been speaking out and saying, "Hey, this is unusual. We don't know where she is." And the detective just said, "Screw it," they
Well,
not
yeah,
gonna.
because a lot of times they stereotype before they even get into that, like before they even go any further. Like they'll go in, the police will look.
Mhm. Hold on, I think I'm trying to pull up this picture of Keiosha.
How you keep, like how you present
Since
yourself.
you went out for a little while, you went out. I'm gonna come down so people, because I'm trying to figure out how people can see the images without me having to go down. But I'm gonna go down for a few seconds so people can get a good look at how Keiosha looks. But I'm gonna let you talk while I go down for a minute.
Oh, okay, but yeah, and so with that, they'll start that from the beginning. Um, just like when they pull up. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm starting not to like this damn streaming. I gotta learn it. I'm just gonna put them in my community tab. But you could keep talking. I'm gonna go on mute.
Okay. And no, I was just saying that goes to show like it kind of goes back to when we was talking about the family members, how, or not even the family member, the comments of how certain people can say, oh, if such and such didn't dress like that, then they wouldn't be doing this, they wouldn't be doing that. The thing is the type of people that make those comments, this is the scenarios that they end up being in, because they are the ones that will cover up those family quote unquote secrets and try to hold on to them, because I don't even know. I don't know if it's out of uh pride, or I don't know. I don't know what they get out of it, or they don't want to be embarrassed. But at the end of the day, who's gonna be the advocate for what's right? And this sound like the family know more than what they're saying. But
They
when they
always
have that,
do. Yep.
yeah, but when they have that dysfunction in that family, it's like I call it recycled dysfunction.
Yeah, and now what I'm about to say next is all alleged, okay? So I don't want nobody running back and saying I said this was facts. It's not facts. It's alleged. So a source came out to me the other day about the Felicia Johnson case, and
Mhm.
was telling me that let you know how I don't know who's heard about the Felicia Johnson case, but have you heard about the Felicia Johnson case?
Keep going.
No.
You know I can't remember. Start the
So
story, then I'll be like, oh yeah, now I remember.
all right, yeah. So Felicia Johnson is a young lady. She recently went missing, too, right? She went missing this year, and
Mhm.
she's from Houston, Texas. And she went. She's not from Houston. She's from Cali, but she went to Houston to like find a job in like the S word industry, right?
Mhm.
And she went to this club, this stripper, this gentleman's club, and basically the club is rumored down in Houston to be. Oh, excuse me, girl. I'm burping. I'm eating, y'all. I'm sorry. It's rumored to be like racist, right?
Mhm.
And so when she went in this club, I I think they turned her down. Like she went to try to apply, they turned her down. And the initial story is that she got an Uber, or she was waiting on an Uber, and while she was waiting on the Uber, some mysterious man asked her, like basically offered her a ride home, and was like, "I
Boy,
give
when
you a
we get
ride
a doorbell,
home."
I said when we get a doorbell.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, buddy.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi,
Here, I'm gonna
what
mute
car
you.
is that? Cause like,
But yeah, so I had a source come out just recently and get a hold of me and said that the man who offered Felicia Johnson a ride was not just a regular anybody. He was somebody who, I guess they said that, and this is an allegation, this is allegedly, I don't know how true this is, but this source came from like a fake account and everything, y'all. They completely shielded themselves, even though I have integrity and I don't give out people's names or anything like that. They made a whole fake account just to get a hold of me and talk to me. And they basically told me that the man who picked up Felicia Johnson was not a regular everyday like good Samaritan like the initial story is making it out to be. They basically said that the man who picked up Felicia Johnson was a trick, and Felicia allegedly had been in the prostitution. She had been prostituting, but her father does not want that information out. Now, I have come across a lot of young black women who who have been into prostitution. Okay, I have come across a lot of cases who these black women have worked the streets. Usually, like when their cases come to me, I'm quick to tell families I don't care that this person was selling their bodies. Like we have to put everything that we can that the police say is okay for us to put out there to bring the loved one home. So yeah, that source came back and told me that. Let me see if I can read some of the things that the source came back and told me. I'm gonna see if I can bring some of this stuff up because y'all, I don't know what's been going on, but certain apps on my phone has been tripping. I might have to try to uninstall and reinstall some of my apps on my phone. But yeah, the source came back and basically was like, uh, the man who picked Felicia up from the club down there in Houston was not a average Joe. He was not a good Samaritan. This was a trick coming to pick her up. Okay, and if y'all know anything about prostitution or the sex work industry, you know that if you're a woman and you're getting into that industry or whatever, you have to be very very careful because um prostitutes or people who work in that industry, even strippers, your safety risk, it goes up. Okay, because especially with black women, because we're often taken, kidnapped, and done whatever to, or murdered or whatever, and we're never heard from again. And then not only that, but people will blame us for our own demise. But so why let me see, hold on, let me see if Cint is still with Cint.
I'm here. I'm sorry.
Now, I'm gonna let you speak on that while I look up this the sources messages because I had to
Um,
uninstall.
I'm just wondering, like, I understand the concept of going from one place to another place to get to try to succeed. But what I don't understand
Oh, let me put the link
is
in here too. Oh no, you keep talking. I'm just
what I don't understand is how these people get. It's like it's. I just don't understand. I don't understand that world because I
mhm.
never really was involved. But um, just think about how many people come up missing doing that type of thing. It's like you would. I know they got some kind of. Don't they got a union or something where they could vouch for? They need something that they can vouch together. If that's what they're gonna do, I say work together. Um, Work together so that stuff like this won't happen. I mean, if you're gonna do
What
something, do
like
it right.
what you mean? Like be a
It's
little bit
like
more specific.
like I'm saying, like with prostitution,
Hmm.
if that's what they're gonna be doing,
Hmm.
and when you're gonna be out there on the streets, and I'm not saying that it's right,
Right.
but I'm not the one to judge anybody. But if you're gonna do something, do it right. Do it to the point where you won't be caught. Be proactive instead of um,
Hmm.
reactive. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
why
me
some women
personally,
get because I didn't I didn't understand why women got pimps at first because I'm thinking I was ignorant to it at first because I'm like, why are you out here doing all this work and then you got to go out here and degrade yourself. You got to stand on this corner. Like some of these women who are in this industry, they not standing on the corner. They call themselves escorts and they do everything online and they have these men meet them somewhere else, right? But like it's real discreet, right? But for the ones who stands on the corners, they have like some of them have pimps. And the girl at first I didn't understand that. I was like, why would you pay somebody or give somebody all your money and you the one doing all the work? That don't make no sense. But because girl, I be watching all these documentaries, I be reading all these books, and the pimp is there obviously for protection, but yeah, I don't understand it either. But I'm trying to get this messenger pulled up because this person show hit me up. Hold on. I think I'm able to pull it up now. Okay, hold on. Okay. All right. So let me take old girl face down. Keiosha's. Let me take Keiosha's face down. I'm gonna have to rewatch that whole movie.
which one? Oh,
Deliver us
deliver.
from evil.
Mm, yeah, I watched it enough. I thought
Girl,
at
I
one point
haven't
that's who I
seen
wanted to be.
it. Well, you wanted to
mm,
be Eva?
hmm
Girl, I always
Well,
liked her, but I thought
similar. Like I
yeah,
like the concept.
I liked her character, but then I was like looking back on it after all these years, because I thought like back in the day, I just thought she, was like setting, like she's setting boundaries. She's just not for
Yeah.
the bullshit. That's how I thought about it back in the day. But now that I'm older and I'm looking back, I'm like, yeah, she still was setting boundaries and she was smart and everything. But I did think she came off like a little rough. So looking back at it, I was like, this ain't good for black women's image. This movie, like
Now
I wonder.
deliver us from. I mean, being Mary Jane. Now that's a totally different story. Love that one. That show.
So, so I found these messages that somebody sent me, and girl, they went all out with it. They sent it from a fake account and everything. So all of this stuff is alleged. I don't know how true or false this is, but somebody really went through hell to give me this stuff. They went nameless and everything. So, okay, let me read. So, this person writes, from what I do know factually, she was a working girl. Her pimp name is Eric Black. He has other girls too. I also know the dad is aware of her profession. The IG has the pimp's name in it. He was the one to notify the best friend and notify the family that she hadn't been heard of. The dad, I feel, is trying to cover the fact that she was a working girl because the HPD is abbreviated for Houston Police Department, would not do much investigation due to the fact that she's a working girl. And that makes sense now because they was kicking up some smoke down there in Houston, saying how mad they were that they were not really investigating this girl's disappearance. So even though this is all allegedly, and I don't know how true or false this is, it does make sense because they got in articles and was saying how basically they didn't know, like they was giving the HPD, the family and the advocates for the family was giving HPD hell, y'all. So let me keep reading. So it says her ads are still active in Houston. So she has ads down there allegedly, and they're still active in the Houston area. And on Instagram, allegedly, she went by Kelly, and I also seen Tiffany. This is what this person is saying to me, and I respond, "Oh wow." And then they go on and they say, "Yes, it's very unfortunate. But I personally think it would save the confusion if the dad was a bit more honest in what he does know." And I respond and I says he just needs to let it all come out so that she can be found. At this point, it isn't about her reputation anymore. This is about Felicia, right? I cover many cases. So I was trying to confirm we were talking about Felicia, the Felicia Johnson case down there in Houston, Texas, right? And so this anonymous person writes back. So when I hear people say his story isn't added up, I agree, because people are coming out and saying the father, like they can basically sense that he's not being all the way forthright. Okay, so let me keep going. So it says, because he knows more than what he is leading us to believe. Yes, ma'am. And she confirms basically that, yes, this is about Felicia Johnson, right? Let me keep going. So I respond to her and I say, if he wants her located, he needs to just be honest. A lot of Black women whose cases who I come across are working girls. So this person writes back, it's like his ego won't let him or something because he knows. And so I respond, I don't think he understands that every second counts with finding her. He is going to have to push his ego to the side, especially because she was a Black woman, and those cases barely ever make mainstream media. And as we all know, Felicia was blessed to make CNN. And all Black women who go missing, their cases barely even make the local news. So then this person writes again, and they say, I don't think he does because I tell everything I knew from beginning to end. I'm surprised it made it this far. And they send me some screenshots, basically some receipts trying to prove to me their claims have some facts to them, basically. And so she basically says, this is the guy's page. So she sends me a screenshot of who is allegedly Felicia's so-called pimp, okay? Or who she's working for, right? So she goes on and she says, I was told she went on a 2-hour date, and after a while, her location had not changed. That's when whoever she was with, I'm thinking another one of his workers, she went to the location where the phone was found. No investigator found the phone. And I respond to her and I say, wow, that's crazy. Things Okay, so hold on, let me go back. So I respond and I say, wow, and crazy thing is that makes sense because I really wasn't believing that she get in the car with a stranger, and I wasn't. I don't believe that any Black woman would just up and get into the car with somebody that they don't know, even if it's a working girl. Usually you have to establish some type of rapport with a working girl before they just gonna get in the car. You can't just walk up to a working girl and be like, hey, you need a ride? Okay, cool. And no, y'all gonna talk a little bit, especially them, because they know the working girls are not stupid. They know the danger and the risk that it takes to be out there doing that kind of work, y'all. So anyways, this anonymous person goes on and they say, right, I think the whole thing about getting in the car is kind of iffy. I thought maybe she got turned down, like they said, and then she got a text or call for services and told the guy to pick her up from there instead of Ubering back to her room. But I thought I read where the video was viewed that she wasn't there on the day that they said she was there. So that's what made me change my thought process on that. Now, I don't doubt anything about the club being faulty, but I don't think the club has anything to do with this, in my opinion. Now, me personally, I heard that those clubs down there in Texas, and it was even another working girl, or I don't think this girl's a working girl. I think she's just a stripper who got in a video, and basically she had the video like undercover, like the club she worked for didn't know that she was hiding this camera, and she basically was exposing how racist that they can be against black strippers and stuff like that, right? So let me keep going. So I respond back to her and I say, I agree, and black women who work as prostitutes have very high risk of being murdered. It is just facts. I don't care if she was a prostitute or not, but people need to be honest, because honesty in these cases involving black women in prostitution, they're murdered quicker and disposed of, and the longer people wait, the worse it's going to be for her. And I also say nobody cares that she may be a sex worker. She isn't the first, but dad needs to come forth, and so we can bring her home. And so this anonymous person, they write back to me and they say, I feel you 100%. I didn't want to startle the group, because they, I'm be honest, some of these families, I get that they're under a lot of stress and I get that. I understand. I truly understand. But some of these families can be very rude to some of the advocates that come into the groups, and like, you trying to help, you trying to learn, because we don't know your family member, and we're trying to learn all about your family member, not only about how they really look in women's cases, because women often wear a lot of makeup, and Felicia Johnson was one of those women who wore a lot of makeup. And I was able to ask the family one day, like, hey, give us some regular looking pictures of Felicia so we know how she looks without being done up. This ain't a beauty contest. Like, we want to find this young lady and bring her back to her family. And like, just hearing and seeing the father stressed out in the media, in the videos and stuff, it worries me as a parent. I can only imagine what he's dealing with. And sometimes when you go into these groups, you can't really speak out and ask them anything because they will jump down your throat. Like, same thing happened to me when I went into another missing women, her group or whatever. And I was asking like, hey, yeah, y'all gave us a lot of pictures of her done up. I don't want to see the women done up. I want to see them in their natural, no makeup, no wigs. I don't have anything against anybody who wears that shit, but we need to see them in their natural so that we can readily identify them. Okay. Well, let me go on where this anonymous person left off. So she says, but seeing that you are into this kind of stuff, I felt it in my heart to share the information I know and what my thoughts are. I pray she is found. The dad is the narrator at this point. I feel as the boyfriend pimp should be speaking too. So she must have been in a serious relationship with her pimp, allegedly. Okay. To think she gives this man all of her money, and when something like this happens, he isn't even advocating for her. Stuff like this, it's hurting my heart. Right. And usually pimps, like I said before, pimps are usually hired as protectors. Usually some women don't even like their pimps. They only deal with them, they tolerate them because they offer them protection. So that was the end of that, and we stopped writing each other. But yeah, from what I learned and from what I investigated with these cases, it is stuff that people know, but nobody is talking. Usually they try to save face, or they're trying not to incriminate themselves and things like that. I wanted to post the screenshots that this anonymous person sent me. But then again, guys, I have to be concerned about my own safety and things like that. So I did not post them for two reasons: my own safety, and then they're just allegations. I don't know how true or false what this person is telling me. And then I'm also curious about even who this person is, because when they sent me all of this information on the Felicia Johnson case, I'm not keeping them anonymous. They kept themselves anonymous. They made a whole different account. They didn't put a profile picture. Like, it's not even a fake profile picture up. It's just like it's nameless and faceless, okay? And this person wrote me because a lot of times when I'm trying to find these families, they'll see me reach out to the families and they'll kind of backdoor it and come in and say, hey, Candace, this is what I know. This is what I heard. Okay. But yeah, so and let me see if I can pull up a picture of Felicia without her makeup. Because I'm gonna post that on my community wall too. Cint, you there?
Yeah, barely, but I'm here. Yeah, I agree about the getting the pictures and all that, but and I understand that they get in their feelings, but I think a lot of it is pride, and I think a lot of it is because they don't know, and when you don't know what's going on, it kind of make you be on the defense because you don't know, and then those questions of what if you heard that, why you don't know? If you heard this, why don't you know? And and sometimes, like you said, you never know if somebody's sending you off, with that information, and you don't know. We don't know if they telling us the truth or if they sending us off. If everything is anonymous, well, what are they hiding? Is it her?
Like
You
who?
know,
Like
the the girl
well, I don't
reaching
even know
out.
if this is a girl. They just sit I just call it a girl because it's nameless and faceless. But
Oh,
yes, nameless and faceless, but like some of the families, in my humble, honest opinion, like it don't even be people in those environments questioning the families, like, what do you know? And you should know something. No, it be people like, hey, they be asking legit questions, and some of the families just go off like the one I forgot her name, and I think they just found her remains too. I think they just found her remains, and I was in that group, and the
is
family
it the
was,
Ware
huh?
last name Ware? Is it the one
Yeah,
last name Ware?
nope,
Oh, okay.
nope. And her family was like going off on people, and it got to the point where I was like, you know what, I'm gonna pray for that missing young lady, but I'm going to come up out of this because you cannot attack people who are trying to help you. You know what I mean? And then if you are tired of answering the same questions, you're in a group, make a group. They have files to where you can, when you make these groups, you can make files and we can read up on this, you know what I'm saying? So everybody is not asking you the same questions. You see what I'm saying? But kind of biting the hand that feeds you, that always kind of rubs me wrong. Like I get there under stress and everything, but people have to understand we're not trying, like I was attacked when because I got in the Ella Goody group and I was saying, hey, because Felicia's group posted pictures of her without makeup, and I said, "Hey, can y'all do the same for Ella Goody?" Because right now I'm invested. Like I had to pull back out of the Ella Goody case because I don't just cover one case; I cover multiple cases. So I was so invested that I was forgetting about all the other women and children who, like, I have in all my backlogs, who their stories need to be shared as well. But I asked them, I'm like, "Can y'all share a picture of her?" Without makeup, and somebody got under it. Like, it's always some bitter motherfucker who want to argue with you about shit that don't even consist of an argument, don't require an argument. And she was like, she was still beautiful without makeup. And I was like, look, I'm not saying, I don't give a fuck how anybody look without makeup or with makeup. My thing is getting her home. Okay. And this is a woman who had children. Ella Goody had children. She had 2 children. um and she like, girl, when I seen that recent article of the police searching the swamps, that's when I just shook my head. Because anybody who has been on my channel for a long time knows that when they're out of Louisiana, when they're in Florida, when they're in Mississippi, Alabama, Texas, any one of them swampy southern states, and you got them alligators down there, I always be telling people, like, if they're in that area, they need to search them swamps. So when I seen them big ass SUVs around them swamps, when they had basically was like, we moving Ella Goody's case from a missing person to a homicide, that's when I was like, yeah, it kind of broke my heart, because some of the stuff that I say, I don't want to be right on. So like the same thing with Keosha's from Louisiana, and I was like, you know what, they need to, like, at this point it's been 10 years, you really not gonna find anything. People when they hide bodies, unless they put your ass in a deep freezer, bodies can decompose in maybe 2 to 3 months. They can decompose faster than that given the right climate. So when I seen them trucks, girl, go to that swamp, my heart just dropped because I kept envisioning Ella coming home. And I'm like, I'm gonna keep believing that until they bring me some solid evidence that this girl really has passed on, right? So what's up, Miss Callie? Miss Callie says she thinks a lot of families keep certain info to themselves because they don't want their loved ones' personal lives to cause people to pass judgment. Yeah, I get that. And then she said, not take the case serious. Yeah, I get that, but like, people gonna pass judgment anyways. People gonna pass judgment regardless. One thing that I learned, especially when I covered the Alexis Morales case, was people had dug, like, whether the family was being hella quiet about the Alexis Morales case, but people had dug far and in between and all around in that girl's business, and they were coming up with their own assumptions. They were pulling shit out of air. So when it comes to a missing person and you could possibly bring this person home safe and alive, probably not well, you know what I'm saying? They probably won't be well after a traumatic ordeal after that. You really have to put those kind of things to the side and not worry about what people think as far as passing judgment. Like, I personally wouldn't give a fuck what nobody thinks, but as long as the police is walking my child or whoever my loved one is into a hospital and I know they're safe and they just need to be evaluated to come home, that's all I'm worried about. So I get it, but like I said, I have came across cases where families are downright tell me, like, okay, the police don't want us to say much. Shout out to Miss Tony Jacobs down there in Richmond, Virginia. When I talked to her, me and her, the first initial interview that we had, she actually gave me more information than what I was comfortable with. And I told her, like, we're going to redo this interview because it's certain things that you told me that I am not going to dispel to my audience. I'm not going to put out. But then again, she would switch it up, like even in that initial interview, and she would say, hey, Candace, the police told me not to say anything about this. And other than, because some of these people on YouTube can be very messy. Like, I'm not like that. I'm not going to push these families or do anything like that. But some of these people will try to push these families to break what the police told them and go. I don't do that. I'm not going to ever get them or try to do that. But yeah, so I will get in these groups and I just be wanting people to understand, like, we don't care that these women had a back life. So the only difference between, like, Felicia Johnson, if Felicia Johnson really was a sex worker, if Ella Goody did have a double life, like, who can really judge them? And we know people gonna talk, and it's always the people who's the loudest always have the most fucked up backgrounds. Have y'all noticed that? People who are the loudest always have the most fucked up flaws. The only person who comes to mind right now, and I really was not trying to bring this man up because I'm over it, right? But Kevin Samuels, y'all, that's the first name that came up when I'm thinking about people who like pointing the finger at everybody else, but got 3 fingers pointing back at their asses. Like, you talked about and you shamed all these women, but your backyard wasn't clean itself. And I've always peeped that, like, how people with the most shittiest backyards with the most skeletons in their damn closet, they talk about everybody else and don't focus on their own shit. And I've always wondered, why was it like that? But yeah, so Miss Callie Scorpio, I don't know if you were here a little earlier when I was reading the messages that Anonymous sent me about the Felicia Johnson case. But she was saying a lot of stuff, and even though I cannot prove past these messages if they were true or not, it did start to make a little bit more sense, because I'm like, damn, like, what would make a Black woman, who's new to an area, just jump into a random vehicle? Because y'all know Felicia went missing in Houston, Texas, but Felicia is originally from California. She's from California. She moved down to Houston. I don't even know if she moved to stay. Okay. But she went down to Houston to make money. And she applied at a gentleman's club. You know, I'm starting to get like my thoughts on stripping and all that have pretty much evolved because, you know, it's come out that pole dancing is actually a really good exercise. And like when you look at pole dancing outside of a gentleman's bar, I'm starting to think of it more as like an art, you know, because it's nice. Like I've seen some women pole dance, but not in like a sexual manner. And it is very beautiful when they do it in the right way. That's my opinion. But I don't have nothing against women who get on that pole and do their thing or whatever. Nothing like that. But if Felicia was living this secret life, you know, like some stuff, I just feel like Miss Kelly, I feel like some stuff that the family withholds from the public. Like I get, if they just withholding it to save face, I personally think that's a bad idea, you know, because right now we have to get this person home and we shouldn't be worried about reputations and what people gonna think, because especially when it comes to a missing persons, because motherfuckers gonna talk anyways. Like I don't know if y'all remember Kanika Jenkins and her mysterious death or whatever. But whenever a Black woman, one thing that I notice about these kinds of cases, not just missing cases, but murder cases, if y'all looked on my videos, y'all seen that I have been covering the Erica Reese and Katina Davis case. Whenever Black women fit a stereotype or we go missing under mysterious circumstances, it tends to garner a lot of attention. And people start to speculate and people start to guess and assume. They really did that with Alexis Morales, because Alexis Morales, and again, because I have no hard facts, and because at the time when nobody knew where Alexis was, the family, you know, they were stressing. They were stressing. And then after 7 days after Alexis went missing, she was found deceased, right? So usually when they're found like that, I don't like to come right out and ask the family for an interview. Right, I did before we knew what happened to her, but at the time when they found her corpse and everything, I stopped asking them, because obviously ain't nobody gonna talk, and they just found their loved one deceased in a garage with their baby. That's how they found Alexis. But Alexis, y'all, it was so much shit coming out about this young lady. I don't know if it's true. Again, this is just allegations, but people were saying that she had a husband who paid her to get into the Americas. He's not from the Americas, but he basically, they had like this green card wedding. Basically, he just paid her to get a green card to come in to the Americas. And once he got here, he must just, you know, went on with his life or whatever. And she went on with hers. So it was speculation around that. It was speculation around her and her relationship with her mother. It was people coming out and they was making groups. You have to be real careful. And make sure when you, I'm going to advise everybody, and I don't wish for nobody's loved ones to come up missing or no shit like that, but you have to have a game plan. You have to have a designated person to speak to the public and all of that, because one thing that I learned from Alexis Morales, that case, is it was people making support groups, and not a one family member was in the support group, and these support groups turned out to be gossip groups. And I had to get out of that bullshit, because y'all know I'm not for nobody shaming nobody and they're dead and gone. You know, they square with the house. What are you shaming them for? You know, they lived their life or whatever, and they back square with the house. They paid for whatever the fuck they did, you know, and they paid the ultimate price. You know, let's just focus on, you know, finding out who did what and why, right? But anywho, another case that, it was just on the tip of my damn tongue. But this case as well, it had a lot of speculation around it. People were coming up with their own, like, you know, guessing. The family went through so much hell just trying to keep everybody at bay. Treasure Hendricks. The one thing that I like about Treasure Hendricks family is I did reach out to the designated person in her case. Now, Treasure Hendricks, I believe at first she went missing, and they found her corpse in that RV of that the guy she was, I don't know if they were just friends or if they were dating, but the guy that she was involved with was a man of no color. He was a Chicago police officer, right? And they found her remains in his RV on his property. Now, after they found her corpse, his ass up and quit the force. You know what I'm saying? If that wasn't suspicious, I don't know what the fuck was. But again, sources came out and allegedly they said that the Treasure and Bell, Officer Bell, liked to get together on their dates and they liked to get high together. And they said it was extreme amounts of like different types of drugs in her system when they did the autopsy. So I'm thinking basically it was probably a freak accident. I don't know right now if he had something to do or if he had any intention in her demise. Like, I don't know if he killed her, like if he had a reason behind it, but it looked like it was an accident. Like they were getting high together and she OD'd, you know what I'm saying? But one thing I like about her family is they had a designated family member. And goddamn it, if you want to talk to anybody, you're going to talk to this designated family member about everything. So even though it was speculations and motherfuckers gossiping and shit all around Treasure's case, if you really wanted to talk to somebody, you had to come to this one cousin of Treasure's, you know. And one thing that I loved about her cousin when I talked to her cousin was everything was straight, no chaser, you know. And she got back to me with the quickness, you know. So that's one thing I liked. The one thing I didn't like with the advocate, and this advocate is no kin to Alexis Morales' family. They're just like an advocate in that city where she's from. But this advocate had speculation around him, right? He had a lot of speculation around him and he was real iffy. It had came out that he had been previously arrested for scamming people and all this other shit, but he called himself a community activist. And so I was going to interview him at that time, okay? But I ended up cutting the interview because people were bringing me back like, hey, don't trust him because this person, not only did he have all these allegations of scamming cities out of money and shit, like money that's supposed to cut down on gun violence and all this shit, but he had his articles on this certain person who claims to be an activist that y'all, he was taking pictures of dead corpses and shit and all of that. And I was like, oh, hell no, I can't have you on my channel. I cannot have you. And, you know, he would not. The one thing that I thought was iffy about this advocate was he really wanted to be on my platform. He really wanted to do an interview with me, right? But I told him, like, for him, because I was so skeptical, I was like, look, get me at the ID and the signed release. I have to see them. I have to see the ID of the family relative who designated you as their advocate, as the family advocate, and I have to see an ID. If I don't see that, you're not getting on my channel or whatever. And he was mad about that. And he kept pushing and pushing and pushing. So that was one of the interviews that was in the working, but it never came to pass because this person was just too iffy. It's a lot of iffy motherfuckers. It's a lot of sharks out here, y'all. When people go missing, not only do gossip and shit come out, but motherfuckers start making fake GoFundMe accounts. You know, that's why it's so important that, God forbid, if one of your family members come up missing or something happens and they're murdered mysteriously, you have a designated person in your family that's going to handle everything. And that way, if a mysterious GoFundMe pops up in a family member's name, you could call GoFundMe and be like, take that shit down. Because these people be collecting money, y'all. They be collecting thousands of dollars off this person's death or their missing case and don't be having no relationship with the deceased or the missing person. So they can be very messy, and I do understand why certain family members is like, hell no, I ain't talking to you. You know, they don't know, especially because Black Women Aware is so small. And I always tell them about my channel, like, hey, go on there. You can see that I have talked to other mothers. I have push the stories of other cases. I'm not here to get the gossip and the juice about your loved one. If I wanted the gossip and the juice, I would not even talk to you. I would talk to the friends who knew of you because the juice already out there. It's already spilled. I don't have to talk to a direct family member to get the juice, you know, but I don't work like that. In this case, this Keiosha Felix, I thought that was real mysterious how her aunt, the cousin, the auntie's boyfriend, and the boyfriend's brother, like they all was arrested. The auntie's boyfriend had allegedly raped this young lady. She was 15 at the time, and they had all these charges on these people, but they only went off of hearsay. They didn't have no solid evidence or whatever. And then mysteriously, all these charges were dropped. The detective was removed off the case because he didn't have good evidence. He didn't really have a lot of evidence. He had what they call unsubstantiated hearsay. So they cut all of these motherfuckers loose. This girl, 10 years later, is still missing. She had a 1-year-old daughter. And from the picture that I seen of her daughter looked like she loved her baby very much. And that, she would not have just up and left this child. So, what's somebody like me left to assume? Oh, you could be probably, deceased. You're probably not with us anymore. You know what I'm saying? Because what mother do you know of that loves their kids, has a close, healthy bond with their kids, and just ups and leaves their kids and never returns to their children? It's not making sense. There's too many holes in the story. So I wanted to discuss those cases. And I also kind of wanted to touch on like boundaries and standards. I wanted to touch on that a little bit because one thing that I come across, and I'm going to try to pull up this article that I have found. It's an article about how when Black women say no, they're murdered. And I had came across so many articles of how Black women, they don't want to talk to certain men, or certain men catcall them, and they're murdered, or like when they're in the workplace. And I don't know if y'all have ever worked in a workplace and it was predominantly people of no color, but I used to travel with 3 cardiologists or whatever. And one of the offices that I went to, I hated that office, y'all. I hated it with a motherfucking passion. And in a way, even though I didn't feel good at the time because I was let go, I was furloughed due to COVID. It didn't feel good at the fucking time, not knowing how I was going to feed my children and take care of my family. But looking back, I thank God that I got the hell up out of that situation happened, and I got the hell up out of that because this one clinic was predominantly white. And I remember going up in there, and I would have my box braids, or I would have them up in a bun, and motherfuckers would just get to touching on me. And the minute that I set that boundary or that standard and say, hey, please don't touch me, especially because me personally, I am highly OCD-ish. I don't want you touching me. And the one thing they used to like doing, they used to like touching my hair, and they used to like touching like my drinks and shit. I don't know what the fuck would possess somebody to want to put their grubby hands on somebody else's drink. I'm so highly OCD, y'all, to the point where OCD is not about cleanliness. It's a fear. Okay. I have high anxiety, but when I see people put their hands on my drinks and stuff, I don't give a fuck if the cup is bought. Like if I personally bought that water bottle or something, and it's a reusable, I would throw all that shit in the trash because I don't know where the fuck you put your motherfucking hands, and why the fuck do you got your shit on my goddamn drink? And that shit used to rub me wrong. And I remember working one day, and this woman of no color came up to me and started that cherry talking shit like they do, all happy and was touching on my hair without my permission. And one thing that I noticed as a Black woman in those kind of environments, the minute you set a standard and say, hey, please don't touch me like that, I don't like that, I'm very uncomfortable with that, you're all in my personal space and you're touching on me, they take it like we have an attitude, like something is wrong, right? Now, in that situation, nothing happened, but in other situations at other jobs that I have had, I have been called into the office for that. You know what I'm saying? And it's the same. I don't know what it is with women of no color and Black men, but it's the same response. When you set a standard and you see a man, and some of these men, you don't have to have no goddamn conversation with them to see that you don't want to fucking talk to them. You don't want to hold no conversation with them. You can tell just by looking at him, the way he carries himself, how he dressed, how he talks. You can tell that this motherfucker is out of your league and you don't want to deal with him. And the minute you tell them no, it don't always start with violence or physical assault. Sometimes they start calling you up bitches and hoes, and I ain't like it no way, and you was ugly anyways, and all of this and all of that. And I just wanted to I wanted us to I probably won't do it tonight or whatever because I got a busy day ahead of me tomorrow. I'm going to be interviewing with a young lady who is a mortgage loan officer and who also has a testimony. So that I got that to schedule. Plus I got to work. I got other shit to do, but I wanted to for us to study and learn together about boundaries. What's the difference between boundaries and standards, and how can Black women set healthy boundaries and standards or whatever? And I was gonna have a whole full blown discussion on that tonight. Okay, let me see what Miss Callie says. She says, in all honesty, I love how you handle each case. I feel you give each person a great respect and storyline. With the info you are giving, you definitely not messy. You can tell you care. Thank you. Yeah, I try to come at them from a place of integrity. I try to come at these cases from a place of integrity and respect. Now, I could jump on YouTube and be like some of these other content creators and just spew out lies about people to get my viewings up. I really could do that, because I be hearing a lot of stuff about these women, y'all. I just don't always post it, but being that I'm a believer in God, and I believe that you reap what the hell you sow. You reap what you sow, like shit. And this is the year for everything that people have been putting out on people is coming back on them. I was just talking about that the other day when I was covering the Erica Reese and Katina Davis case. Whatever the fuck you put out here in this universe that God created is coming the fuck back on people this year. I don't know what it is about this year, but it's coming the fuck back on people, right? So I feel like if I do it the right way, eventually I will get my flowers, right? It's not all about me. It's not about getting numbers. And some people just on here to get paid and shit like that. Yeah, eventually I do hope Black Women Aware monetizes, because I do have plans on traveling and going to different places to interview some of these women who I feel like can bring something to this channel. They can educate people more than what I can, because I'm humble. It is somebody out there smarter than me. It is somebody out there who's been in the medical field longer than I have, and they can educate people on more than what I can, and I even want to talk to, because I've been noticing for the last year and a half, I've been noticing that the women who are getting housing and Section 8 or whatever, or they call it the housing choice voucher, the last year and a half, they've been having trouble finding decent housing. And I wanted to get somebody on here to educate people about realty and housing and what people can do and shit like that. I don't want to just touch on corporate Black women. I want to touch on, I don't give a fuck what your background is. If you got a story to tell, I want you up here. But yeah, so I do have a lot of shit going on behind the scenes, y'all. And I'm just trying to organize it all. I'm trying to learn myself and educate myself on some of this stuff. I do plan on not only going live to do the interviews, but going live and some of this shit, we can learn together, because I like group learning. I like it when we get together and people throw in ideas, so I'm going to see how that goes as well with this channel. But I've noticed as well that Black Women Aware, it's been attracting Black men. Black Women Aware is not a big channel, but Black Women Aware has been attracting Black men. But some Black men come over here and they actually want to learn. They actually want to come over here and I hope be an ally. I hope not pander, because if they do, first sign that I get of it, you gone, you can't stay over here. But I am starting to have a lot of Black men who come on my channel and want to be so-called allies. I am fine with that, but I need them and women of no color, because I have noticed that I'm getting a lot of women of no color over on Black Women Aware as well. I need people to realize and remember at all times that this is a Black woman space. I'm not going to sell this space out. I'm not going to compromise the space. This is a Black woman space. I don't want to hear from nobody but Black women, you know what I'm saying, in this space. Okay. But yeah, so that's all I got for now. Nina Rose's family, I am going to continue to try to reach out to them, because there's nothing on her case. And not only is it nothing on her case, but her case wasn't even assigned a detective, they basically told her family out there in Englewood, they was basically like, shit, y'all ain't give us enough information on this girl's missing case, so we ain't assigning her no damn no detective for her case. So until y'all can come back and find out some shit on y'all own, we're not assigning her shit. Now imagine a police department and they can go in the back doors on people's social media accounts. They can issue search warrants. They have all this kind of resources at their fingertips. Imagine going up in there and your loved one missing and they telling you they won't even assign you a goddamn detective because you basically won't do their job for them. That's crazy as shit, y'all. So I have reached out to her family to try to get somebody up here on the stream with me and put out a little bit more information on Nina. I will be putting pictures of Nina in the community tab as well. Like I just did Keiosha. I just posted some pictures of Keiosha as well. Let me put some pictures of Nina Rose in there real quick. But yeah, so I do have a lot of things planned. Every Friday night, I am planning on, having one of them little kickbacks because I like laughing too. I'm not serious all the time, y'all. I like laughing. I like having, fun. I like getting on YouTube sometimes and just, entertaining and being entertained, But for right now, while the channel is still growing, I am kind of micro focused on these cases and shit. But I do got a lot of shit planned for this damn channel. And I'm going to need allies. I'm going to need other Black women who are willing to put in the same time and effort as me to come in and help out with the channel. Hey Kinder. So Kinder says, Sugar Bum, can I have you take to my bed? Take what to your bed? I don't really understand. I don't get that. Maybe if you like rewrite it and kind of specify. But y'all, I'm posting pictures of Ella Rose. Okay. I have reached out to her family. I will be doing videos on both of these people, but also I'm supposed to be announcing my 2 moderators tonight. I think right now I probably only need 1, but I'll get 2 as a backup as the channel continues to grow or whatever. But I am going to be announcing them later on before I get my ass in the shower and go to bed, But yeah, so I'm about to get off of here. So what she says, hey, pretty, sorry, honey. Okay, I think this is like a troll account. Okay. That's what I think this is. But yeah, so I'm going to get off of here. And y'all all please remember to be safe, be alert, and be aware. It's crazy shit happening every day, especially as far as Black women are concerned. We're being targeted every day, especially after this Kevin Samuels passing thing. It's a lot of weirdos, y'all, on different social media sites. I don't know how they attached Black women to the passing of Kevin Samuels, but they did, and they believe that Black women are responsible for Kevin's heart giving out on him, and they are targeting Black women. They are all over different social media sites saying what they're going to do to different Black women. They're going to harm them in some type of way, shape, or form. So I always tell Black women, like, I'm sorry it's got to be like this, but it does. If you don't know a certain Black man or whatever, you need to be very wary of him. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry it had to be this way, but it does for right now. You need to be very wary of these Black men that you don't know. You need to look, I'm finna block this person. Talking about I cross. Baby, I'm not scared of nobody. And you're blocked. But anyways, but yeah, you need to be aware of these people. You need to take in accountability that even though these people look like you or whatever, that they can be dangerous. You never know. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I want to put y'all up on. Shout out to Chrissy, because Chrissy did cover this as well on her page. She did put out a lot of information on these dangerous guys. I'm glad the FBI are starting to investigate these guys or whatever and hold them accountable. They're starting to like dig deeper into these cases. I don't know if y'all heard about the subway guy, the subway killer out there in New York, but he was a Manosphere guy and he was a Kevin Samuels follower. Okay, these guys do not know how to separate social media world from real life, and they're actually going out here and harming women. So I need for everybody to be safe. Okay, make sure you're alert, you're looking around, you're vetting people when you meet them, whether you're trying to be in a relationship or not. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to get off of here. This is Candace Yvette. You all remember to be safe, be alert, be aware. I am signing off.